Dude, are you drunk?
Maybe.
Welcome to the Booz and Broz podcast, where hosts Matt Lytle and Chris Califf discuss everything paranormal, cryptic, horror, true crime, and of course, booze. So grab your favorite beverage and come have a drink with the Booz and Broz.
Hey everyone! Welcome to episode 13 of Booze and Bros. I'm your host, Matt Lytle. We're on Winter Kills Part 3, and I got my co-host.
Ferdinand.
Why is it Ferdinand?
I was actually trying to think. I was trying to think of one. I can't remember what it was. There was a Martin Short movie back in the 90s called Clifford. And he had a little dinosaur, a little brontosaurus. Stefan. That's what it was. Stefan. Anyway, that's what it was going to be, Stefan, but I couldn't think of Stefan at this point in time, so I went Ferdinand.
Hold on. What year was that movie made? Because I feel like it sounds familiar. 80s.
Oh, shit. 90s. Late
Was
90s?
it 90s?
Yeah, late 90s. It was Clifford with Martin Short. He plays a kid that's just annoying as shit. So
Yes, I've seen it. So that's who you are, Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Oh,
I mean,
but you are
for those of you who
Califf.
see me on, for those who've seen me on national TV, for those who know me, for those who follow me, I am the Reverend Califf. You're welcome.
Reverend Califf, yes. You just posted something last week about it, and you had a question thing on Instagram, and somebody asked you if you were actually a reverend. What was your answer?
Believe it or not, yes, I am legitimately a reverend. I bought that
But-
shit from the Life Church. $20.
For?
Ordained, motherfucker.
I saw that answer. I was dying, dude.
Even Jesus needs the money, bro. Like, even Jesus needs the money these days. So, in nomine Patri et Filii Spiritus Sancti, motherfuckers. Reverend Califf.
Woo. Oh my gosh, dude. I already feel drunk, and I haven't even drinking a sip of alcohol yet.
Oh, I think it's because you're you.
I'm
Of
drunk
your
on
young
life.
youth. Your youth.
Dude,
Speaking
I'm
of
not
youth-
that much younger than you. I'm like 8 years younger than you.
Speaking of youth, though, that's a good segue
To what?
into tonight's topic. Because
I don't know
this
why I'm laughing. It's
motherfucker,
really disturbing.
this motherfucker loved him young. Let's be real. He loved him young.
Ugh.
And what's his name, Matt? What was his name?
John Wayne Gacy. No, not John Wayne, the old Western icon, badass, 6'4", freaking all-American. No, we're talking about a 5'9", fat, out of shape, perverted piece of shit.
Pogo,
That's how I feel about him.
the killer clown,
Mhm.
slap nuts, whatever the fuck you want to call him.
Slap nuts, yeah. Okay, the killer clown. Wow. Well, obviously, I wore my Pennywise hat because, yes, we are talking about John Wayne Gacy.
But Pennywise wasn't mouth fucking small boys, now was he?
No, he was just eating them. But hold
So
on,
was
Caleb. Hold
so was
on.
Gacy, in a more fucked up way. Huh.
Give me 1 second before we talk about Gacy. You know, I wanted to wear my Pennywise hat, but I think because John Wayne Gacy is literally known as the killer clown, I think we should go a little more in character.
No, fuck no. Ronald McDonald, fuck off. Not gonna have you take that shit off your head right now. It looks like Carrot Top's nutsack is sitting on your head.
I knew you would love it. I will not be
Where's
wearing
the
this the
beef?
whole time.
Where's the beef? Wendy's?
Hold
Where's
on.
the
What about
beef?
Wendy's?
That's what I just said.
Wendy's?
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef is Arby's, dumbass.
We have the meats is Arby's, dumb shit. Where's the
I
beef?
thought wait, that's Wendy's?
Oh my god. Carrot Top,
So
calm
this
the
is
fuck down. Right
This
now.
is actually the wig. It's not near as pretty as it was on Halloween, but this is my Pennywise wig, which was literally hairsprayed and I had a bald cap on and all the makeup, and it actually looked pretty good. But right now, the fact that I'm not in makeup or anything and I have a just a weird thing going on, I do look like Carrot Top, and it's really disturbing.
You realize who, like, the guy we're talking about, right? Like, you realize who we're discussing.
I mean, it's in theme. Not that I enjoy this guy, but it's in theme. Do you want me to take it off, Califf?
I gotta say this before we go any further, because I know we still gotta talk about the drink, so I gotta say this. Out of all the serial killers we could talk about, all of them, Gein is fucked up in his own right. H.H. Holmes, super fucked up. Benny P. Look at you.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, as we were going through and we were reading the facts and checking the facts and discussing stuff, I have never been more uncomfortable than this fucking guy.
And I'm making you uncomfortable, but I'm not going to wear this. I'm sorry. I'm putting my Pennywise hat back on. So for those of you guys listening,
bitch compared to Mikey, but
hey, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, I love Mikey. Mikey's, hey, he's up there with Benny Pete, you know. But Pennywise is my boy. He's I love Pennywise. We're gonna do a podcast about Stephen King, by the way. We have to.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of badass.
That'd be great, right? We're just now getting to our drink, and usually I'm rushing to get to it because I want to drink, but I was distracted by the wig. I'm sorry. That's my apologies. I thought it'd be funny. I know you wouldn't find it funny, but I'm sure all of our fear friends will.
Fucking awful. It's awful.
It's awful. But you're welcome.
Our six viewers are going to be just out of their minds.
Hello, 7.
Sorry, my bad. To that one viewer, Craigo, my bad.
Craigo. Okay, bro. So what are we drinking, man? What is this drink called?
I don't remember. All I can think
Killer Clown.
Is how fucked up all this is.
Anyway. All right, yeah. So again, just like last week's Ed Gein episode, this episode is also going to be very brutal to every single person listening, including us talking about it. But we are here to talk about serial killers, and it's not like serial killers are a happy, subject. It's brutal, and that's why we're here. We're here to discuss and just talk about it, because for some damn reason, humans are so interested in listening and watching serial killer true crime podcasts and documentaries and movies and stuff. So that's why we're doing Winter Kills. Jesus. Back to our drink. It's called the Killer Clown. Okay. So this one's really special because it took a little prepping. So what we do is have a jar, ball jar, mason jar, whatever you have. You put a bunch of orange Sour Patch Kids in it, and then you put a bunch of vodka in it. Tito's for me. Goes without saying, Tito's for Califf. So we let this soak all night last night, and literally this morning / afternoon, it was just like pure, like see-through orange as hell vodka. It scared me a little bit. I'm still afraid to drink it. But so it's got that. It's got orange juice, 1 cup of orange juice, which I just filled it up. I mean, I'm sure you did too, because we have to drink throughout the whole episode. It's got some lime juice, about half a cup, which I didn't put near that much because I want more vodka. And it's got half a cup of simple syrup, which I sure the hell didn't put that much simple syrup in my cocktail. Gross. So that's what this is made of, the Killer Clown. Califf? It looks like orange juice. It looks like orange juice.
I'm okay with that. It's not green.
That is true. We haven't had a green drink forever. Okay.
God, the minute we do Dahmer, it's going to be green. Watch.
Probably. Cheers. It's actually not bad. It actually tastes like fucking candy.
Mine just tastes like Tito's. It's like orange Tito's.
Like literally, that's what it tastes like though. It just tastes like orange, like it's like the orange juice, but stronger, and then vodka and candy.
With that little like sugary kick to it.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's good, dude. Whew. So where do we start with John Wayne Gacy? So John Wayne Gacy's childhood, like our last two, his father was a drunk, but his father beat him bad. I mean, bad. So, for instance, there's a story of when John Wayne Gacy was 7 years old, he like touched one of his dad's car parts. And his dad, what do you do? Hit him with a broom in the face or some shit? Like, beat him bad. And it wasn't just physical abuse, it was verbal abuse all the time, because John Wayne Gacy also had two sisters and he would beat them. But because Gacy had two sisters, and when you're a kid having two sisters, you're not necessarily the most manly kid on the block. And his dad obviously brought that out.
His dad, it doesn't matter. He's gonna grow up queer anyway. Like that's his
Literally
shit his dad told him. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. And his mom, just like her other two, was religious. They were religious. But his mom was nice. He was very much a mama's boy, and obviously his dad hated that and would make fun of him for being a mama's boy. But his mom was just a regular woman.
I think it was 12. At 12, when him and a buddy were both caught groping a little girl, his dad caught him.
Right.
Took a belt to him and beat him fucking senseless.
So what the thing about that story is, yeah. But the thing about that story is the girl was 15 years old and she had Down syndrome. And that's why his dad was really, really, really pissed about that. I mean, in general, but yeah. So that whole story was brutal. And yeah, I mean, John Wayne Gacy, he damn near died from that punishment. I mean, it was...
Not to mention the cat had a plethora of health issues, was in and out of the hospital his entire, young adult life. And the absolute, the icing on the cake is he's dealing with all these ailments. His dad, boy, you're faking it. Like, his dad just did not give a shit about his existence. This is the same dude that bought him a car, right? Bought his son a car, and then would do things like take off the distributor cap or hide the keys so that way he couldn't use the car. Like, there was a lot of diabolical shit going on between Gacy's dad and himself.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, in and out of the hospital, some mental issues as a kid, and your dad not only being a piece of shit to you, but literally beating the shit out of you, calling you names, calling you gay, whatever it was, especially, this is back in the 40s. I can't imagine. I'm not shocked that he ended up doing what we're going to get into. But, before we get into that,
I don't think that vindicates though. Like, I got to jump in. I don't think that.
Oh, no, I don't think so either. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think that this dude, yeah, he had a fucked up upbringing. No joke, no doubt. But the shit that he did next, there's nothing. Because, I mean, like his count.
He ended up murdering 33 young boys and men. 33.
You're right, bro. 33. But presumably 45. And the fact that they're still trying to this day to ID some of his victims is just insane.
Having said that, yeah, he did his murders between 1972 and 1978. So 6 years, and that's in the 70s, and they're still trying to. So let's get into some of his murders. Well, before that, no. Let's talk about his murders, and then we'll go into how he was. So he was only 30 years old. He was 30 years old when he did his first kill, 1972. It was a kid with the last name McCoy. This happened in Chicago, Illinois. And Timothy was traveling, I believe, from somewhere around the East Coast all the way to Nebraska. And he was stopped at a Greyhound bus station in Chicago. And Gacy came up to him, and I think that he flashed his fake sheriff's badge. And we'll get into that, but that is one of the main ways that he lured in teenagers, was he flashed a badge and said, "Hey, I'll give you a ride." And that's what he did. Kid said, "Sure, yeah, that's great." Hopped in his car. Gacy took him back to his house to show him whatever. And nothing was weird yet. Nothing was sexual yet. And then, took him back to his house. And Gacy said, "You know what? You can stay here. I'll, take you in the morning, da, 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 da." So what happened was McCoy in the next morning, Gacy stated, I'm not kidding you, this was a statement by Gacy, that it was very early in the morning, and McCoy was at the edge of Gacy's room with a knife, and Gacy thought that that was a threat, and so that's when Gacy went up to him and stabbed him. His only stab of all of his 33 murders was this right here. Gacy said he felt threatened. Well, the story goes Timothy was actually cutting up some fruit or something for breakfast, and he came in to ask Gacy what he wanted. Sad story, but the creepy, most disturbing thing about this story is this. Gacy then goes on to say, that is when I knew killing was a thrill. That was his first kill
because
in
the sound of the blood gurgling gave him a mind-numbing orgasm.
Boom. Quote ended. Exactly. That's exactly what he said. I get
this point
goosebumps talking about this shit.
This world is fucked up. Huh.
Yeah. So that was his first kill. And yeah, and it's not like he then went on. I mean, if you don't know about Gacy and you read his story, you would think, oh, great. So he's probably killed 5 more people at the end of the year. And then 73, he probably killed, 11. That's not what happened. Between 1972 and 76, he actually only, oh my God, I can't believe I said actually only, but he killed only 4 kids, 4 young boys. His second victim is still unidentified to this day. One of his victims that is not identified yet is his second kill. I don't necessarily remember how he lured him in. This was 1974, so this is 2 years after his first kill. So it's not like he went on a rampage, right? And this is the first kid that he strangled. It was a 17-year-old boy. I believe he was 17. I think they might have gotten the age. But he strangled him, and it was in his closet. And Gacy said after he strangled him, the pus or whatever it was that came out of the dead kid's mouth, that it dropped on Gacy's carpet and stained his carpet. And that is why, moving forward, Gacy used the socks of his victims or the underwear of his victims to shove into their mouth as he strangled them, because he didn't want them to stain his carpet.
As fucked up as that is, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's just, I hate because, everybody listening and watching can obviously, you don't listen to this and not paint a picture in your head. And that's what's so hard about doing these podcasts, is when you're talking about them, you can't help but just visualize a grown-ass man taking the life of a young, innocent kid.
It's one thing to talk about H.H. Holmes, to talk shit about Ed Gein. But you start looking at somebody like Gacy, who, this dude was well liked by his neighbors, was a high society. This dude got into politics, part of the Democratic Party. This dude was well liked by most people, and was really just at his leisure, fucking torturing, fucking, and then killing young men.
Raping.
His age range was from 15. I think the oldest was 21.
21.
That was his age range of his victims, 15 to 21.
Yeah. And that's what's so disturbing too, is before he, not even before he did his first killing, but before and even after. He was married. He was married at 22 years old, had 2 kids with his wife. And everybody who knows Gacy, this dude ran a KFC and was making, in today's money, $123,000 a year. That's good money. And he was in his early 20s. He was married with 2 kids. He even described that part of his life as, quote, perfect. And then they ended up getting a divorce.
His dad apologized to him.
His dad apologized, right. And he said, you know what, son, I was wrong about you.
Yeah. So in set 1968, his life is perfect. Ends up picking up a young man by the name of Donald Voorhees. Promises Voorhees, I'll take you back to my house, I'll have a couple of drinks, watch some porn, all that kind of stuff. Kid, okay, let's do it. Anyway, goes back to Gacy's house. Gacy forces him to to suck his ding-a-ling. Like it was what it was. You know, after he was finished, he gave the kid $15 and said, "Thank you. This is for scientific research." So
And that
kid tells his
was
dad,
before his kill,
dad,
right? That was before his first kill, right?
yeah. And then kid goes and tells his dad. Dad's like, "What the fuck did you say to me?" Inset, Gacy then gets charged with sodomy. So he's convicted. So he at first he's telling everybody he's trying to, "Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it." And people are believing him. "Oh no, we will come to Gacy's aid. He's a great member of society. He's a great human. He's a great person." Gacy ends up pleading out for 10 years for one count of sodomy. As the day he's charged, his first wife says, "I want divorce. I want the house. I want custody. I want everything," and gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that was the end of Gacy's first marriage.
Yeah. And so 10 years in prison, right? And how long did he have to be in prison for, Califf?
18 months, all because Daddy passed away from liver failure.
Yeah, he only
Daddy,
did 18 months for that.
Yeah, Daddy died. He said, "Hey, can I get on parole?" Because I mean, keep in mind, again, while in prison, they loved him. He oversaw a miniature golf course being built. He helped rebuild accommodations for the prisoners so they had better conditions of living. Like this dude, again, he's doing all this community shit, making himself look so grand and so great. Still denied, parole. But then Dad dies of liver failure. And this is like, for me, like when you read Gacy's story, this is that first screw that comes loose, like really loose. You know what I mean? Dad dies, and the reports were that he was just weeping, like uncontrollably weeping, and said, "Hey, can I get early, parole?" And this is the part of the story that weirds me out. So maybe you can clarify this for me. So they give him a 12-month, essentially grievance parole to let him go to the funeral, be out. Then he relocates to Chicago with his mom. So my thought on this, and knowing my Department of Corrections history and all that stuff, it's like, okay, did he just skip town and it was evading, or did he actually just get released early because his dad died?
I think he got released early because when he was released, he planned to go to Iowa, and then he reversed course and went and lived with his mom. And because his dad died, so he was going to be with his mom. And I think they just said, "Okay, with your record that you've been blah, 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 you're good." That's what I read. Yeah. And then, yeah, after that, like you said, his first wife divorced. He had two girls, or no, he had a girl and a boy, son and a daughter, gone. So he ended up finding his second wife in 1972. Huh.
Which
Ironic.
is funny. Which
His
is funny
kill.
because, that I just say this because one of the funny bits I get outside of this guy being a fat, weaselly, out of breath piece of shit. Sorry, got that off my chest. He literally goes, "Okay, I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to move in with my mom. I'm going to take care of my mom. Hey, Mom, I met this bitch. Move out."
Yeah. Literally. He only lived with his mom for like a year or two. Yeah. Kicked her ass out. Had this nice house with his new wife. And actually,
good.
Yeah. Who also had a daughter. So, or no, two daughters. Lied, two daughters. So he did his first murder when they lived with him. He did it when they weren't home. I mean, think about it. And then fast forward to 1975. This man had sex with his second wife on Mother's Day. After they were done, said, "That's the last time we will ever have sex." 1 year later, what happened? She divorced his ass. But before she divorced him, he also came out and told her that he was bisexual. And I think that's what really, really drew the last straw for her. And that is when 1976 is when he really, really, really went crazy. Between 1976
and it seems like every time he got a victim, and then that victim would die, and then bury him under the house, which we'll get into in a second. It was almost like every time he was done with the victim, he was picking up a new one, like almost like clockwork.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what was so disturbing about this guy is, it wasn't one every year. It wasn't two every year. I mean, once 1976 hit, I mean, it was 8 to 10 every year. I mean, that's damn near one a month. And we're talking about one life, one whole event of him going and using his sheriff's badge to pick up a young teenage boy or talk him into which he owned a construction company and it was very successful. I mean, this man was a very good businessman too. And he owned it until he obviously was caught, which we'll get into at the end of this. But, you know, he would offer jobs to boys. And a couple of his victims were teenage boys who worked for him. And the way, I mean, we can get into more about how he did things. So one of the things that he would do a lot with his victims is he would do what's called a handcuff trick. You heard about this, Califf? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So Matt, let me ask you a question that he asked his victims. Let me ask you a question he asked his victims.
Wait, let's talk about our drinks first. Look how far I am in my drink, dude. I am like, this podcast, I just can't stop, man. I need a drink every sentence I say, bro.
Well, let me ask you what Gacy asked his victims. So, would you like to know how to get out of handcuffs?
Yeah. And they said, sure. And then that was it. That was basically them saying, yeah.
He would cuff them. Look at them dead.
No, he'd cuff himself. So what he would do is he would cuff himself first, hands behind his back, right? And he'd have a key between his fingers. And then he'd uncuff and be like, boom. And then he would ask. And they, sure. And then go ahead.
They would be handcuffed. He'd hold up the key and be like, you need a key. And that's when the bad shit would start. He would dupe them into that shit. And it's fucking sinister because then he'd look him dead in the face and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to rape you and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. And that's what he would do.
You might as well let me do what I want because this is what's going to happen to you.
And that's what he did 33 times. 33 times. 33 young men, young boys who I guarantee most of them had promising futures. All of them had promising futures because guess what? They were going to be alive.
The torture he
tortured
would
them.
Fucking inflict. I mean, shoving random things up people's asses. He would fucking have them board, like I can't remember the name of the fucking board that he had, but a board with two cuts that he put handcuffs in to like strap their legs and shit to it. He'd tie them up. He would sit on their chest and like face fuck them.
Yeah. And he did that. That was one of his, along with the handcuff trick, that was one of his main known tortures.
Until he got good at the rope trick.
Which was?
Nylon rope. After using his hands a few times, nylon rope became his tool of choice to end people's lives. And the rope trick was you die.
Yeah. And so with his victims, with all of that torture and gruesome, disgusting, disturbing, he had a crawl space.
Don't forget too, he would shove shit deep down their throats because he didn't want any leakage. I mean, that's why like I know you're already going about to where he's going to put the bodies. That's, the closet was the first reason, but it's also why he didn't pick the attic because he didn't want seepage coming through the goddamn ceiling.
Yeah. So he had a crawl space in his basement. It was pretty, tall, I guess, tall enough for his fat ass to crawl down. And he would bury 2 foot by 6 foot long holes. And he put his victims there.
I occasionally spread the bag of lime down there to help out with decomp.
Yeah, didn't he have somebody else do that for him? Like, how fucked up are you?
Yeah. He had hired people to dig the holes down there. And that falls into the idea of accomplices. I mean, that's the big thing with Gacy is that they were convinced that Gacy had 1, if not 5 different accomplices. Because some of the boys that survived could have swore they saw a man in their 20s standing right there watching this shit happen. Or different lights in Gacy's house coming on. There was connections to some dude in Chicago that was a sex trafficker, last name of Mason, I want to say. Anyway, there was a huge sex trafficker in Chicago at the time that they thought that Gacy was buying boys off of. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
I think he did. And he even said 2 years before he was executed, which we'll get into, he even said he named some of his accomplices and said, why aren't they here? Why aren't they here? He even blamed his accomplices for what he did to these victims. He swore 2 years before he died, 1992. He was even interviewed. You guys can look at this up on YouTube. John Wayne Gacy's interview. He swears he didn't even do it. Swears. Blames his accomplices, blames whatever. And he knows that the next place he's going to go is heaven, and he's cool with it. He's like, yeah, I know I'm going there. I know God's going to meet me. Please, bitch, please. Oh, I just want,
I mean,
oh.
this is the same dude. This is the same dude who had massive reports of, like, for his employees, if they wanted promotion, they were going to suck his dick. You know what I mean? If they wanted money, they were going to suck his dick. Like, he was very much so into bargaining with homosexuality, because, as you know, later on when he was when he had constant surveillance, he was very open about the idea of men on men sex, right? Like, that was a big thing that he was
Yeah.
like totally fucking cool with. In his house, he had
Yeah.
books on fucking pedophilia. He had books on homosexuality. He had like all that stuff. So this is a dude that was just fucked up to his core. And then to be able to look at a camera, dead like I'm looking at you, to look at a camera and be like, oh, I didn't do it. Motherfucker, their bodies were under your house.
More than enough proof. He convinced his own self that he didn't do it. Literally. I mean, but yeah. So before we get into how he was caught and stuff and his last victim, what were some of the other jobs that this man had while he was murdering teenage boys? We know he was had his own construction company, which was actually successful. He was into politics.
We know he got into politics.
He actually shook hands with Rosalind Carter. There's a picture of it on the internet in 1978, shaking hands with her. And this is after he killed tens of young boys. It's just so disturbing. I wonder how she felt after she knew about him. Like, she was, But what else did he do? Why is the reason we have this?
Did you ever watch the Spawn movie? Did you ever watch the Spawn movie growing up?
No.
There's a Spawn movie where an actor named John Leguizamo, I'm sure you know who John Leguizamo is.
Mm-hmm.
John Leguizamo plays a clown called the Annihilator. Okay. And it's a short, fat fucking clown that talks shit. That, now that I think about it, is probably based off of Gacy.
100%.
And that's what I think of when I think of Gacy dressed as a clown. Because I think of this stupid fucking pudgy fat piece of fucking sweaty shit that can't even fucking run because, I mean, let's be real, unathletic as shit. I mean, double scoop motherfucker. Anyway, sorry. Sorry.
I mean, he must have been very, very like good, because I mean, some of these boys, I mean, the 21-year-old boy, some of these boys were like 18, 19, like, big guys who, like, I'm sure if they were standing face to face, I mean, Gacy was what, 5'9", like you just described the rest of them. Like, how can you not run away, or how can you not get away? Well, it's because Gacy had you by a rope or handcuffs. He was so good mentally. It's like the Joker. That's what I'm saying.
He kept a fat bitch. Like, I would have been like, let's go, Gacy. Let's fucking dance. If I could fight one person, if I could go back in time and fight one serial killer, like, oh my God, I would beat his pudgy ass into the fucking ground. Hashtag, fuck you, Gacy. You're my bitch.
I think Gacy would be the one that I want to fucking fight too. I think Gacy would totally be the one I want to fight.
I would fucking get Ed Gein's nipple belt. I'd grow H.H. Holmes' fucking power stash, bro. I'd fucking grow it. I would take the power of the serial killers before him, and I would fucking devastate him in such a way that he literally would fucking be like, oh my God, I killed bitch. And then I
win. I wish we could have ended this podcast like that. Oh my God.
You're welcome. You're fucking, it frustrates me so much because you have this, I can just see it. You want to see a handcuff trick?
Ugh.
This fat double scoop looking bitch that, like, I mean, it's just, it is what, I mean, imagine the douchiest guy you know, right? Double scoop piece of shit looking motherfucker, right? Trying to be cool, trying to act like he's awesome, trying to wiggle his way in. Meanwhile, he's fucking holding people down and face fucking them and then killing them.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, yeah, I'd want to fucking beat the shit out of him and more. So, Caleb, what else did he do while he was killing, job-wise? This is the creepiest, besides what he actually did. This is the second creepiest thing about this little short fat man serial killer. What did he do? What job did he end up picking up? What are you laughing for?
I'm sorry. What you referred to was this sad short. Because you call him a sad short little fat man. Like, that was just so good. It was beautiful.
I can't
fuck him in his mouth. Anyway.
I mean, I can't call him. I can't call him by his name
How you
anymore.
feeling, buddy?
I'm good.
Are you drunk? Did we go 3 for 3?
No. Huh?
I'm at hashtag the good buzz. That's where I'm at.
Hashtag the good buzz. I like that. Ooh, I really like that.
You've already said that in an episode before. You said that during the Ghost Loop episode.
I don't know what you're talking about.
On the Ghost Loop episode, I told you I had the good buzz, and you're like, we should hashtag that. And I just did, and you like totally have no recollection of it whatsoever.
No. Oh God, Ghost Loop. Oh, I was trashed by the time we hashtag that for sure. Trashed.
AMFs?
Dude. Oh, so trashed.
So we have Sir fucking short, sad, fat piece of shit who decided he was gonna be the best thing a short, fat piece of shit could be, but it's a clown.
What were the clown? Hold on. I can't even. I know their names, and I just can't even I can't wait for you to say them. What were the names of his characters as clowns?
Wasn't it like Poncho and like El Libra or some shit like that? Wasn't it something like
no, not at all.
What was it?
It was no. I want you to know them. Pogo. Dude's name is Pogo. Like imagine this fucked up dude being like, I want to be a clown and I want to name myself Pogo. Like, I just want to.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you came to me like, I'm the clown Poncho, or was it Pogo? Pogo, like Pogo stick. Got it. That's actually kind of fitting if you think about it. Because these are probably names for his penis. These are probably the names. Oh, tonight Pogo's coming out, and then Pontius Pilate, or whatever the fuck the other one was. Like,
Pontius Pilate. Dude, I love how the beginning of this, we were like, oh man, this guy's so fucked up, and now we're making fun of this man like he's nothing.
Well, fuck him.
Which he's not.
He doesn't deserve anything. He doesn't deserve to cramp our style here at Booz and Broz.
That's true.
That's
very true.
Fuck
he was
you,
a fucking clown for crying out loud.
Gacy. Fuck you, Gacy. No, we know who I'm fucking. I'm fucking me at H.H. Holmes, boy. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, with that stash? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. With that magic castle or whatever. What was it called? Murder Castle? They called it the Magic Castle.
Well, yeah, you have Poncho.
Dude, it is so hot in my room.
That's like you're gonna have Poncho showing up the Magic Castle with a nipple belt. That's just the end of it. That's what it is. Fucking
okay.
Poncho
By the end of our winter kills, we have to come up with a serial killer based on every single one we've talked about into one. I honestly, I think we've covered enough about how he killed his victims, how many victims he killed. Let's talk about how he got caught. His last victim was Robert Piest. And Robert Piest worked at a drugstore in Chicago. And his mom was picking him up, waiting to celebrate her birthday, which makes us even more sad. John Wayne Gacy was in there talking to this kid about working for him at his construction company, saying that he would get paid more than double what he was getting paid at the drugstore. So like any other teenage boy, absolutely. Any other person, absolutely. I want to go take this job, whatever. His mom was in there and the kid said, Robert said, hey mom, I'm going to talk to this guy. Be right there and then we'll leave. So mom strolled down a couple aisles and then realized that Robert wasn't there anymore. And neither was John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy ended up taking Robert, and Robert was actually one of his victims, and I think there were 5 that he threw in one of the rivers that run through Chicago. One of the 5 that did not land in his basement, but landed in the river. So Gacy ended up doing what he did to Robert and threw him in the river. Well, Califf, how correct me, how does this end up happening? So, I remember, it's a receipt. Of course, it's always a receipt. A receipt was found in a jacket.
So hold
right?
on. You're jumping ahead. So
okay,
he goes missing. The family goes, hey, something's up. Well, the cops are like, we can't really do much. Let's file a report. They filed a report saying, yeah, he would not have run away, straight up missing. So the last person he talked to was this John Wayne Gacy cat about this construction job. So they talked to Gacy. First things first, Gacy is like, oh, well, I'll come down to the station later because my uncle died. Cops are like, oh,
That's
well,
right.
what time do you plan on coming down to the station? And Gacy's like, well, you have no fucking consideration for the dead. Nice.
Right.
So Gacy strolls in about 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, covered in mud, saying he got into a car accident, where he then said he didn't offer the kid a job, nothing, so forth, so on.
He said he
Push
had
come to
no idea
shove,
what they were talking about.
Yeah. A comes
Yeah,
to Z, they end up
naturally.
getting a fucking warrant to search Gacy's house, where they find a gun, 6mm Beretta, I believe. They find a bunch of different licenses that were trophies, essentially. They found a poncho in a toolbox. They found a 36-inch strap of nylon rope, an 18-inch dildo.
18-inch dildo. They found underwear that was, quote, too small for Gacy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they found a receipt for the drugstore.
There it is.
So now they have this receipt. So they put Gacy under surveillance. It doesn't take Gacy long to realize he's being surveyed. Not that long at all. And then he starts having fucking fun with it. He starts having fun.
He was surveyed by two investigators, correct?
Yeah. And he starts having fun with the investigators, offering dinner or drinks at his house, so forth, so on. Or at restaurants. Hey,
in his house.
buy you a meal. Yeah.
Can I stop you real quick?
Passes,
Wait. I want to go into detail about one of the instances of him inviting. So check this out.
Okay.
So like you just said, he invited these guys to come in for drinks and whatnot. Well, there was one time where he invited, hey, invite some of your friends, right? Some of your investigating friends. I mean, he was literally tooling with these guys. And I mean, they literally were standing there in his bar/living room area, right above the crawl space, drinking. And Gacy's just sitting there, just throwing them back, knowing that these guys have no idea. Continue.
So
okay, go for
one
it.
of the investigators ends up talking to one of the young kid's friends at the drugstore about this receipt. They were able to trace it back down, this receipt back down to her. She goes, yeah, I put it in my friend's blue poncho pocket, which instantaneously connects the poncho they found, the missing kid, and the receipt. At this time, Gacy's starting to get fucking just all kinds of shrill and fucked up. He tries to put together a $750,000 lawsuit against Chicago PD to immediately get rid of the surveillance. At this point, Gacy's getting squirrely, right? He's fucking getting squirrely. He slaps that lawsuit down. It's almost like he's fiending for another kill, or he's afraid of being caught, one of the two. So he's doing this stuff. All of his friends start turning on him. One cat, oh yeah, he asked me to lay a couple bags of fucking lye under his house. Another one, yeah, he had me digging holes down there. All this type of shit, which then gave him the inclination to get warrant number 2. When they got warrant number 2, they went to the house. As they were going to the house looking again, they started smelling what smelled to this cop like corpses from the heater vent.
Yeah, because that cop had been a professional detective at homicides. And he knew
then they
that
bring the
stench.
dogs in. Then they bring the dogs in. The dogs get the scent of the boy in Gacy's car. Now, at this point, Gacy starts talking. Now, he's not singing like a bird yet, but he's talking. He's saying, this one particular cat, the first one that I stabbed, that was self-defense. He was trying to kill me. He's in the garage. So-and-so. It was the same thing. It was an accident. They're buried under the house. Well, it's a couple slip here and there. The cop's like, okay, we're going to fucking get a warrant and go search under your fucking house. Well, Gacy, who's not under arrest yet, ends up flooding his sump pump, which is part of your sewer system in older houses, and it floods out the bottom of the house. He's trying to wash away all the evidence. PD still shows up. They pull 20 from the water. They don't give a shit. Pull 26 different bodies in varying stages of decomp. Some that are just bone. And this is when Gacy starts fucking singing and just tells them point blank everything.
Everything.
In his fucked up head, though, because he was still referring to the majority of them as prostitutes. right?
Yep.
So he still referred to them as
Yeah.
prostitutes because in his head, that's how he viewed them. But he
Yep.
sings like a goddamn canary.
Well, he viewed them as prostitutes, and he said that because he was trying to play victim. He was saying, "Oh, well, they forced me to do this. They forced me
Not
to
so
do that.
much.
They were
He
prostitutes."
buried them under his house because he considered them his property.
Right, exactly. But again, I mean, this guy, I mean, most serial killers are, but this guy is a chronic liar, and he's mostly good at it. But when it comes to having hardcore evidence, you can't lie. You can't get your way out of it, right? And so he ended up. What year did he go to prison? Was it 80?
79 is when he was convicted.
79? And so he rotted in prison. And one note, obviously. One day after his prosecution, one day after he was sentenced to death. 1994, May 10th. You remember how he died?
Lethal injection.
Yep. He was flown to whatever place. To be honest, I don't know the name of it. And a lot of people were out there, just like Bundy, just like a lot of other serial killers. They were dressed as clowns. They were making fun of him. They were just clapping. And you know what's funny is a lot of his lawyers he talked to an hour, 2 hours before his execution, and his lawyers said that Gacy was on the phone with him saying, "Oh, hey, can we hold this till later?" And the lawyers were like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's talk later. Like, I can't talk right now." And they're like, "You're going to be dead later." Like, what? He never believed once that he was actually going to die until literally he was dying. That's how it just
You know what his last words were?
mixed. No.
His last words, when asked, "Mr. Gacy, do you have any last words?" The dude snarled the words, "Kiss my ass."
I hope he is in the deepest and darkest depths of hell. And I'm sure he is. Last call?
Last call here at Booz and Bros.
Last call.
Here at Booz and Bros.
Thanks for catching up. Here we go.
All right. So in the tradition
All
of
right.
last call here at Booz and Bros, I've got a question for you, young Matt Lytle.
Okay.
You are the defense attorney for a one, Mr. Gacy. He asks you to lie for him and says, "Hey, I need you to get me off this charge." What does Matt Lytle do?
I wouldn't accept it. I would never do that. Like, I don't care how much. I'd rather go on unemployment. No way. There's no way. Listening to these lawyers, these defense lawyers for him, I literally looked at their faces during these interviews and I'm like, how in the world did you even go through with all this shit?
Well, you know what their big thing was, right? All 33 of these people, it was just auto asphyxiation gone wrong.
Yeah, 33 times, please.
After the first time, you should fucking stop if that's the case. Jesus Christ, you obviously suck at it.
Yeah. So I don't know. What about you? What would you do?
I'd beat the fuck out of him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have no other answer besides I want.
Every time I hit him in the mouth or in the dick, because I punched him in the dick too, just because. Like, I can put this shit, boys. Fuck you. I'll beat your dick back in you. Anyway.
I'd do an uppercut, right? I'd shove his balls back into his body like this.
I'd hit him every time and talk shit. I'm like, "You fat double scoop piece of shit." And just fucking like go to town, man. I would go to town.
I would use the first blade on him. I'd use the first blade on him.
Well, it's the thing is before he like loses consciousness, I'd sit there. I'd be like, it's crazy. It was right here. I knew that the sound of John Wayne Gacy gurgling on his own blood gave me a mind-numbing fucking orgasm.
Damn, dude. Mic drop. Mic drop. Ladies and gentlemen.
On that note, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, though, that was a mic drop. That was great. Guys, part 3, Winter Kills is over. Wayne Gacy. We wanted to make sure that we talked about his more fucked up side than how good he was before he was, into politics and all that, because he was. But guess what? No one gives a shit because you murdered 33 innocent boys, possibly even more, in the most disturbing ways.
In traditional last call, I will say this. It is these kind of people, and it is these kind of people that make this existence as fucked up as it truly is. As these kind of people that have these impulses that want to go out there and hurt people because it makes them become better. Well, newsflash for you, motherfuckers. You all get caught in the end. It's what happens. If you're an H.H. Holmes, if you're an Ed Gein, if you're a fucking John Wayne Gacy, you all get caught in the end. And I hope the giant devil cock that is destroying your voice box in hell right now, I hope that was well worth it for all the lives that you took. Because the devil's cock is going to blow out your fucking throat, you sick fuckers.
Oh, I can't even imagine if I just. All right, I'm out. I gotta go. I'm out. We'll see you next time on Booze and Bros. Stay tuned.